Once upon a time, there lived a very handsome prince in the land of Dancy, and his name was Prince Dara. Prince Dara was the only son and child of his parents, the king and queen of Dancy kingdom. As his parents could not produce more children, they expected him to get married at a very young age, as soon as he became a man himself, to start bearing children. Children that will continue to hold the lineage and throne in the future. But Prince Dara was not the type to be programmed that way. His handsomeness, princely status, and wealth went into his head, and he felt he was the Almighty himself. He was much sought after by different girls from far and wide. He flirted with the wealthiest and most beautiful of them all and refused to be tied down by any one girl. With my handsomeness, this lovely body, and my wealth, why should I settle for one dumb girl that will later become like a bag of soaked cassava flour? He asked his friends one day, laughing as he admired himself. His friends were sensible young men, and so they gave him reasons why he should get married and listen to his parents to choose a good girl to settle down with. But that was their own cup of ginger. Prince Dara continued in his habit of womanizing, changing from one girl to the other, until one day he met a very beautiful girl, a type of girl he had never met or seen before in his life. Her beauty was exceptional, and when he confronted her and tried to woo her, she did not hesitate to agree. As they discussed, she told him that he was a princess from a faraway kingdom and was on her way to visit her relative when she saw him. Carried away by her beauty and charming nature, the prince did not care to ask more, and he started dating her. "You have to stay in the palace, my love, since you do not have anyone in this kingdom," he said to her. He gave the princess girl a charming place to stay in the kingdom. Days passed and weeks passed. Each time the princess wanted to go back home to her kingdom and people, Prince Zara would say no, he would refuse. He got closer and closer to her until he fell in love deeply with her. All the other girls were unhappy in the kingdom that a strange girl was going to marry their prince. He had never been carried away by any girl like this before, they thought unhappily. One day, Prince Dara proposed to the girl. And she laughed in such a shrill and loud ringing tone that sent the shivers down the spine of Dara. "Why are you laughing that way, my love?" he asked as he stood beside her. "Any other girl would have jumped at it to accept my request." "That's any other girl," Dara said in another haunting tone. "If you want to marry me, you will have to follow me to my kingdom to see my family," she replied him. Prince Dara asked, "And where is your kingdom, my love? Tell me, and first thing tomorrow morning, we'll leave for your kingdom to see your family with my people." The princess laughed. "My kingdom is inside the mountains of Igarakun," she replied, smiling at the prince. "Beside the mountain?" asked the prince. "No, inside the mountain," she replied, still smiling. "How kind?" Prince Dara asked. "Do you really love me?" asked the princess. "Yes, of course, and you know I do," replied the princess. "Then let's go now," she said, changing into a wild wind. Instantly, the prince realized he had been dating a spirit and started to shout, "No, no, I'm not coming with you. No, you have to come with me," the princess shouted. Now, in the form of a wild wind. You must. No, no, the prince kept on shouting, no, at the top of his voice. As he continued to shout, his friends heard his voice and came running in. They quickly understood something was amiss. The prince had been in there with the princess, but now there was only a wild wind, a talking wild wind, and the prince. Oh! Quickly they sent for the prince's family. The timely intervention of his parents and the use of traditional medicine was what saved the prince from the princess' wild wind. Otherwise, he would have died. From that day, he refused to date any other girl again. The prince declared that he was never going to marry and stayed indoors, locked himself indoors. Finally, his mother was able to convince him to marry and arrange for a responsible girl for him. He learned a great lesson never to flirt in his life, because at the end, anyone who did that will carry one problem or the other at the end of it. That's the end of the story. Please like, share, and press the notification bell to be the first to get my new releases each time I release a new one. Thanks for watching.